One of the biggest concerns for the Buckeyes is, did you get caught looking the other direction? Because you had Kyle McCord, who, those that really knew, I did not feel the disrespect was warranted to the level that he received it last year. They basically ran him out of town. McCord's now at Syracuse. And what you then go and do is you go get Will Howard, the quarterback from Kansas State, who was actually benched for a younger quarterback late in the season. This is the concern to me for the Buckeyes, because it does feel like they're ready to go compete for a national championship this year. They went to the portal and got Caleb Downs. They go and get Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss. They are loaded across the board. Defense should be good in another year of Jim Knowles. All the skill positions, look, the running back room may be the best in the country. Your wide receiver room is loaded. You go get Jeremiah Smith, who it sounds like he could play in the NFL right now. He's that talented.
Yes.
But none of this matters unless the quarterback position is figured out. Tyvis, what are you hearing in Columbus?
So I haven't actually had a chance to get over there and see it, but I have been hearing that, listen, the quarterback position, they're learning a new offense. Chip Kelly's installing his things, and there's not enough touch on the ball. Some of the clips that I've seen, they had Student Appreciation Day this past Saturday, and I got to see some clips of some of the plays that these receivers made. Now, don't get me wrong. The quarterback put the ball in a decent spot. Not perfect. In a game, maybe the DBs make a plays. But what I will say is those wide receivers are making plays. So it's going to make the quarterback position look better. Obviously, as they get things rolling, it's some chemistry. You got Will Howard coming in there. This is his first time working with some of these guys. Aaron Nolan, obviously Lincoln Kinghouse was a young guy, and Devin Brown has been there for many years. But right now, when I look at them throw the ball, what I'm looking at is a bunch of wide receivers making the quarterback look good. Hopefully, by the time the season starts and they build that chemistry, hopefully these quarterbacks get things going and they're making the receivers look good.
Yeah, Tyvis, and I think this is it's all related in my eyes where when McCord left, I figured in my mind, I thought in order to let him walk, if you're Ohio State, you feel you're going to have a guy, like a clear guy. And to your point, you have arguably the best receiver room in college football now for a stretch of years. But once again, Ohio State feels they're loaded. Your running back room is loaded. It's one of the more attractive places to go play quarterback, and yet to me it is a concern at this point that there's still a battle. Devin Brown going into his junior year. If it isn't now, then when is it, right? Will Howard is a guy that's had some success, but as you get close to this, because on one end, I'm going to ask you who you think should be the starting quarterback next year, but I'll intro it with this.
Okay.
If we believe Ohio State can go make a run at a national title, do you risk starting a younger guy? Because to me, I would say, hey, if all else is equal, put in Aaron Nolan, put in one of the younger guys to let him grow and develop. But if you believe you can make a national championship run, do you go with a safer, more veteran quarterback? What's your opinions?
Well, what I'll say is, first of all, it's natty or bust. And that's not me saying that. That's what the players over there at the Woody Hayes are saying. They are all in on this season. And when you look at things, should it be Will Howard? Should it be Devin Brown? That's the biggest question mark. First of all, you go get a guy like Will Howard who's on his last year of eligibility. He has to make this work. If he doesn't, then it was a waste of time transferring to begin with. But you got a guy who's like Devin Brown, who's big on competition. I mean, think about it. Last year, it took to the 9th hour for Ryan Day to even name a starting quarterback for the season because Devin Brown was doing things. He was giving you those moments that was like, oh, my God, this is very impressive. He's the ultimate competitor, and he doesn't care that they went and got Will Howard. He looks at this like this is his team. You think when Kyle McCord went into the transfer portal, he became the leader of that team. He was the voice. Everybody followed him. And that same thing is still going on right now, although Will Howard is there. He still looks at it like this is my team. So I think that this is going to be something that we have to watch. The spring game obviously is going to be vanilla, but they have a few practices left. One of them has to start creating some separation. I don't think Ryan Day can go with the same thing he did last year where he goes all the way up until a week before the season starts before naming a starting quarterback. He has to make a decision who's going to be the guy and let that guy ultimately be the voice of that team. Let this team know who is our leader on this team. Who do we need to follow? And I don't think you can wait. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, Will Howard, he's behind the 8 ball a little bit because he has to develop the chemistry to whereas Devin Brown has been working with these guys for many, many years.
I'd say the benefit for both those guys, and you know, you played with a guy, you saw JT Barrett, right? You Braxton
Yes.
Miller. You know, what made Ohio State so dangerous is, you know, JT Barrett, maybe not the most talented quarterback to come through Columbus, but I'll tell you, he'd rip your heart out as an opponent, because if you needed 3 yards, he was going to find a way to get 4, even if that meant running the ball. What Devin Brown and Will Howard both can do is they have the ability to run the football.